Hello there, this is Warpath 1985 speaking, and for the Christmas Day special, I submitted the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Omega Supreme. That's figure. And generally, this figure and Omega Supreme as a character as a whole is really good. Which obviously it's like made the G1 version of Omega Supreme for the character section. However, I have to mention that obviously for this part, I'll actually be having my microphone much closer because I didn't realize that I had completely forgotten that my microphone doesn't really pick up on audio that well in a much more open space. However, generally, I must mention for Omega Supreme, for the character, he's actually pretty interesting overall. This is mainly due to the fact that Omega Supreme in general is quite tragic, even though yes, he's overtly very emotionless in this general characterization, his voice, and his overall attitude towards mostly anything and everything around him. As he speaks more of like a classical computer, more specialized voice, where it is hard to kind of generally explain really, but we'll show up a clip here.
Omega Supreme, it's good to see you again.
It's been too long, my friends. What brings you here?
Maintenance. The foundation of the North Wall needs shoring up.
Then I better not keep you.
Nonsense. We haven't talked in a long time. What have you been up to?
Your voice heard.
The Decepticons have towed an asteroid into orbit. We may need your help.
Talk premature. Disturbance unnecessary.
That asteroid may be new fuel for Megatron. The Constructicons are mining...
Constructicons. Constructicons. Enemies die.
And yeah, that's pretty much how he speaks throughout his entire appearance throughout the show. Primarily the show, mind you, because he didn't really appear in the movie. And I believe also Headmaster as well. However, this general character really, throughout the entire saga of the original G1 cartoon universe, both versions, mind you, the Wings universe, which is the American continuity, and the Japanese version, which is one we got with Headmaster, essentially. And in both, he's very tragic in the sense that he lost his friends, the Constructicons, to the Decepticons, as they were brainwashed by the Robo Smasher, and he lost his emotions due to the Robo Smasher pretty much almost scrambling his mind, and due to being forcibly removed, it caused him to pretty much lose all of his obviously, his emotions. The proper word to not necessarily speak more, just everything that makes him essentially sentient human in comparison to that of the other guardian robots, because keep in mind, Omega Supreme is technically, canonically, the only really sentient guardian robot that we know of, and basically he's deprived of that general sentience. And because of that, throughout the entire series, it is having played that he has a lot of mental struggle over that fact, but also he has a intense anger over the fact that his best friends betrayed him and deprived him of something that is so inherently very unique to him, that being his inherent sentience in comparison to other guardian robots. Obviously, after the establishment of the Cybertronian Empire, etc., that was resolved, but still, in the end, he is deprived of most of his sentience. He still, yes, is sentient in comparison to mortal guardian robots, but still, he can't really speak in a, not necessarily normal way, but more just a standard form of speech and etc. He rather speaks to the computer language, essentially. And because of that, he just is inherently very bitter over that fact. Even though, yes, he can be very stubborn, the bitterness and the general kindness overall that he rather have show wisdom, etc. to others that are inherently in a similar field of being like larger robots who have to defend others, etc. Like, for example, the aerial bots in the cartoon is seen, but also, yeah, that is generally his characterization of the show. For the figure itself, I will be doing like a comparison. Obviously, we'll show up the same video I have for the previous review with Devastator, and yeah, those are all the Titans together. They're pretty cool. All the Thazan, which are exactly 6. because I still haven't gotten like what was it? Star Convoy, Nemesis, Predaking, and Decepticon. Specifically the version released to Generation Selects, because I want to get that one, and also Guardian Robot as well. I do not own. The reason why I made Cabu for Decepticon is the same reason I have for Black Zerg, for canonically it's pretty small, and I want to use that Decepticon as the Decepticon scene for Zone, where it's like a Demon General. So yeah, I want to get the figure for that. General reason. However, I like to do a closer comparison that I did last time, obviously, but still, I want to take this aside because this video is not going to be as long, but still pretty long as well in comparison to Devastator. That being the size comparison between the both of them. And obviously you see, they're actually pretty comparable and very accurate to what we'll see in the show. Because keep in mind, if I show the scale, obviously, and you've seen the previous review as well, Mega Supreme is certainly much taller and bigger than Devastator, but overall Devastator is still pretty large in general, and is usually always portrayed to either meet at a chest level, or at least close to that with general, like, height really. So obviously, yes, he is still dwarfed by Mega Supreme, but that is, well, accurate in general. It's not as like egregious in comparison to like something seen with the Studio Series version, where he's in fact too small. Now, the first general accessory that's really part of Mega Supreme is probably the most weirdest one. That being his blast effect, and he comes with 3 like general coned pieces. Just show like a little closer here. My camera can like focus because it's not really. There you go. So yeah, it comes with this specific blast effect, which might I add is the second most used blast effect seen in like most figures in general, because it has been used, I believe, with most of the Titans recently. Has released pretty much in most of the Chimera class figures since then. It also has been released in individual packs, etc., with other like figures also on certain occasions. However, in the most recent case, it has been released on at least technically included with Chimera class, not Chimera class, Titan class Star Convoy. So this piece has been reused a lot. For the reason, I do have a couple of examples of those reuses. This is one from Siege Omega. See here. My camera can like focus. Yeah, it's never focusing that well. But yeah, it's still one from Siege Omega. I'm gonna switch to manual. There you go. This is the one included with Skylinks. They released in Earthrise. Again, this blast is included like with pretty much all of the Chimera class figures, exception for like obviously certain Titan class figures, because it was with Siege Mega Supreme and then Star Convoy. Interesting enough, we also have the focus here again, so I have trouble here. The blue one released with good old Rodimus Prime. The one with Tricranius here, which I think is like Mark like uses a lot, which I admit I do agree, it looks pretty nice. And this one, which I did get in like a lot here, but I don't have the figure itself. This is another example I have here. Is the one included with good old Chimera class Ultra Magnus, which is a different color than the one included with good old Skylinks. However, it has a slight spray painted on it, like powdered light bluish gray on it. It's very weird. It would be reused for, I believe, that sort of color without the paint on it with Star Convoy. However, I might be incorrect by that, because again, both of them look pretty similar in most of the pictures with the one included with the Skylinks. So yeah, pretty cool, I must say. The other figure that's not also technically accessory, etc., is Countdown, which makes sense in the sense that technically this all is supposed to be like intercompatible with the airlock system, the wider Macromaster figures and bites to the Minicons as well. They were released in Legacy and also Age of the Primes, I believe. Cause did we get like a new Minicon? Oh yeah, it was like with Nemesis Prime, the Star Saber. But yeah, pretty simple figure overall. Has pretty good paint, which my camera's not focusing again on. I don't know why. There you go. And I'm just gonna transform him now because it's more important, which I think will be important for later in the review, for the compatibility with the other Micromasters. Because keep in mind, Mega Supreme is one of the few figures, because of Titan class and by extension Companion class, etc., that do have compatibility with other figures that be Micromasters. So yeah. Transform here. Turns little moon buggy slash rover. It's pretty cool. And obviously it's supposed to fit in with the robot mode of the Mega Supreme, where it turns to his, obviously his rocket launching site in the cartoon, etc. And obviously that's also be compatible with the later released Micromaster updated version, the Countdown base. Seen with the Galactic Odyssey line, which I do have, but I did use for the review on the pre-read photo shoot, and it's in shambles right now, so I wasn't able to set it up in time. But yeah, for the figure itself, it actually has like a lot of different gimmicks here, and one I like to show off here is obviously the blast effect compatibility, because might I add, and Mega Supreme's actually, I think, is the figure with the most blast effect ports, which I'll show off in a second. And yeah, here is Siege of Mega Supreme with every single blast effect I could fit on him, because, might I add, he's probably the figure with the most blast effect compatible ports and etc. And yeah, I missed one here. I just realized this one here and here, and yeah, that is literally every single blast effect port on him being used. Oh my god, there's like another one. Same. Okay, now there's literally all the single blast effect port on him being used, and as you can see, it is a lot. He has an insane amount of blast effect ports and 5 million ports as well. It's ridiculous. I think he's probably not the one with the most. That'll probably go to God, that'll be with Cybertron Metroplex has the most 5 million ports, I think. I think that also might go to probably Tidal Wave, maybe. Probably, but I think probably will go to Cybertron Metroplex for the most 5 million ports. But yeah, look at that. There's so many of him. And there's even one here. Why? But yeah, there's one there. It is ridiculous how many there are. Across the figure. Obviously, you can't fit one here, unfortunately, in the back of his head cannon. You can flex the plastic on the blast-effect port, but it is kind of not recommended to do so. But yeah. These are pretty much all going to be in use. I think I could fit one here, probably. Maybe. Barely. It barely fits in there. But yeah, that is ridiculous how many blast effect ports he has. Because look at this. That is a lot. And look how little there are left. My massive pile of blast effect ports I had here. Ridiculous. I think that is I got the Amada Hotshot, the Pyrolinks one, to do this. Good lord, this is ridiculous. But yeah, that's literally all the blast effect ports he has on him. It's very easy to move all of them, obviously. But yeah, but for the articulation of the figure, which I'll get into a little bit, it is actually pretty easy. To not only handle the figure for articulation, but also the articulation itself. It's actually really good, relatively speaking. However, yes, it is still very limited due to his size and his big mass, chunkiness, etc. Because keep in mind, America Supreme has been created in most continuity speed, surprisingly agile for size, and fortunately get into most of the poses he had in the cartoon, but unfortunately certain of the poses are, well, impossible. Like, obviously you can't do that, because sometimes in the cartoon he was shown to use his claw hand, like grasp his other hand. You can't do that in the figure, which sucks. But yeah. But for articulation, he has a really good, like, multi-jointed head, which can be raised and lowered. Yeah, it can allow him to look down, not so much up really, unfortunately, like you have like in Skybound. But yeah, it is pretty good overall. Also, this is articulated as well. He has ratcheted shoulder joints, which is the same on like both shoulders. They're very, very strong. Outward, it's not that much. They're not strong as much, really. Especially in this one. But overall, it is pretty strong here. Very nice elbow bend, which is the same on both arms. No rotation here other than just this. Let's make the transformation. But there's rotation here on this hand to kind of replicate how he sometimes would rotate this hand in the cartoon, but also more specifically War for Cybertron America Supreme, where he'll rotate this and use the gravity on him. So it's pretty cool, you can recreate that. Obviously these are all articulated. Little arms here. And you can get into like very nice cone shape of both of them. Some punching action. Cool. I forgot to mention would be his missile launchers, which is technically due to transformation. But yeah, you can use the panels here to be like missile launchers. It's primarily for base mode. But yeah, that's super cool. You could do that in raw mode here. But for the lower body, it's mainly just a brace location. It's also ratcheted, which is common for most time class figures, with the exception of like the Scorpion mold, not mold, but mold. However, for rotation picking action, it's not very good. It just stops here for some reason. It's on like both legs. It just kind of stops. So means you can't get into a good like sitting position like with he's seen the cartoon where he learned his origin, which is unfortunate to say at least. But yeah, it's weird that it kind of just stops there, but it can go back that far pretty well. The camera's like focusing, because it's focusing on this stuff. I'll do this very well once I do the transformation, and they're very loud and powerful. I also forgot to put plastics here. Whatever. He has a very nice knee bend here, which kind of doesn't really work in the end, but still does the job, I add. And an ankle rocker, which is very dinky, but for most Titans, that's relatively pretty good. But for the transformation of the figure, relatively speaking, it's pretty easy. Let's see. First, you have to like split open these panels here, take these wing bits to form like the road pieces, which I won't be doing the bus with the base mode, because my god, it'll take me forever to do so. I'm still trying to discover new ones. Like even the Robo mode you saw earlier, I just found out there was some I missed somehow. But unlike in GMO cartoon where these pop off the arms, they just slide out. Like like so. It's pretty interesting to say the least. Like, hopefully I'm capturing all this because my computer, but my camera has a weird time with the autofocus, which is why I don't like using it most of the time. But it is needed here because, yeah, I won't be able to like do this with trying to focus on here, etc. I'm trying to like figure out like, because this is probably the most difficult part here, trying to like figure out how to like line up most of these panels here for the rocket ship mode, because you have to get in a certain position, specifically the arms, and because of that you can't really collapse them and combine them together. Like, it's easy, mind you, to like get them together, but you had to like figure out, okay, then is this the correct side on this arm or is it the correct side on that arm? Might add, this is kind of like the hardest part overall, as mentioned before. Just since you have to like really get everything together. I think I got it the right way, right? Okay, I did, good. Because this is like, once again, those difficult parts, just trying to line them up. Yeah, just extend the top out here. Set this up to form the rocket ship, which is massive, mind you. I'm going to reposition my camera again, get on the frame. But for the tank itself, which can be at least set out. So, I'm just forced. Okay, get out of there. Just put these cannons outward. I do caution to kind of move this panel here to like this. Pops up very easily. Don't do it like this. You pry up here. Do it like this. Just pry them on here. Like that. So yeah. Because you might break it because it is like clear plastic. This whole piece is clear plastic. It's thick clear plastic, mind you, but still, it's clear plastic. So caution. It's like when unplugging this. In general. But for the cannon itself, you have to like rotate it up here. I might add, this transfer is really good. It's really, really good and very impressive for like a Titan because it's so intricate, complex, simple, mind you, but not very difficult. That's usually a problem with most Titans here, where they're either too difficult or too complex to like really handle, probably play with it. Because again, it's a toy, so it has to be very playable. But this is a cool gimmick here where you can have Countdown be seated here in vehicle mode, mind you. And I believe it only really works with Countdown. I wouldn't be shocked if it works with the other like more buggy-esque Micromasters. I haven't really tried it out because I don't want to like force it. But yeah, you can fit like Countdown here in the take mode to look like he's like piloting it or ready to like deploy out of it, which is pretty cool. And I really like that storage piece because it means they won't lose it. So there's tank mode there, which obviously you can flip this down too, which I prefer like having it outward. It's like a posterior gun. Something kind of looks cool. But yeah, the power wash is set flip down. But for the base mode here, it's pretty interesting because you have to like rotate the body like so. That's spread it with him. Thought of these little airlock like panels here for other airlock based modes, spots, etc. Just for the Micromasters really. You have a little stopper here with this molded like chevron here, so you kind of just stop there. It's pretty cool, mind you. It does have a stopper for both sides because you want to have more upwards. You can do that the more outwards. Yeah, so it is like a natural stopper here with the little like red chevron here. So it's pretty cool. Put that panel down, and there is the base mode, the main part, mind you. and you flip out these little airlock panels here and here to connect with the other Titans. Because primarily these types are mainly for the Titans and Commander class figures, and technically the airlock figures, Mechmaster ones, like the what's my camera's like not focusing on the same. With like Ironworks, but not so much with the actual Battle-Masters, which is unfortunate. Or Selectors, really. I don't know. I keep confusing like the names with one another. But yeah. With that aside, you just plug these little parts here to the legs, the like row pieces, and yeah, there is a Mega Supreme in his base mode, and it is very, very big. It's not as a shelf hog in comparison to like, well, if my camera can like raise up a little bit here, to like Black Seraph, where it is like completely encompasses most of the space here of the table. But yeah, overall it is a lot more of a compact piece, which is good, mind you, but also it's still, we're just speaking, a base mode that's actually proper, has spaces for various figures and etc. So yeah, obviously the thing can go around here, which is should really, but just have like some clearance issues here because it didn't general nature of the size of the tank. Because it's not like the original one was like motorized. This one just isn't, unfortunately. Although still, at least it's big. You also have these various places for other Micromasters. Primarily in the, this collapses, which I think is better because so I can't like really be able to see it. A small little, I don't know why my camera's not focusing here, place to, there it goes again, because this piece like pops off a lot, to store a single Micromaster. There you go. Which once again I'll be using Countdown here, and obviously I forgot to mention you use this as the zone slash victory version of Countdown, which appears his name. Yeah, he can be placed in there, be stored, and use all the computer because my ideas are like computers, which is super cool. But I can like be put in there like so. So yeah, my camera focus there. There you go. Super cool. That's not the only like storage place for the game Macromaster. There's actually a lot more. Something like standing here, they can drive down here, they can drive on here. Like there's a lot of places you can place your Macromasters besides like obviously inside of the tank. And I might add next piece one few Titan class figures that actually have storage somewhere else. That being here, inside the legs. And it also has computer panels, etc. for Macromaster to kind of stand up in there like that, which is pretty impressive because mine I add with the Unicrucity guys. They don't have that much like compatibility with their Minicon buddies, but because of like obviously the storage airlock pieces seen with Cybertronian Empire and the shins of who was it? Tidal Wave that can store like the Minicon or somebody like that. But generally, the Mega Supreme has a lot more compatibility and better compatibility, mind you, to store all those little guys in there, which is fantastic, mind you. But also cool because you can store Countdown anywhere in these places, not to worry about them or him going missing. And it also has like articulation here with tank mode. If I mentioned that, the tank mode is articulated. It can't rotate, mind you, because of the head. But yeah, it is articulated. And obviously other parts like here, claws, etc. are articulated still in the rocket ship mode, which is also a plus. But overall, the figure is in base mode very solid. It is a very solid figure. And also, I forgot to mention this because it is awesome play feature. So I wanted to get Decepticon to show this off. He has both airlock ports for the Micromasters seen here on this side, this little panel here, but also ports for the previously released city boss like Decepticon and Fortress Maximus, which is super cool, mind you, and also with other base modes of the later class figures released in Time's Return. So yeah, it is super cool that you can do all of this cool stuff in general, and it's probably the most playable base mode out of all the Titan class figures, with the exception of maybe like good old Black Zerk, because he actually has a proper compatibility with the airlock system, besides Mix Pain, where you can only compatibility with Black Zerk and other figures, etc. that can use that clear plastic type version of the selector like airlock piece. Because keep in mind with that one, they actually stress out the little pegs here. So don't use the clear plastic ones, use the opaque ones seen with the little Mega Muscle bots like Ironworks and Airwave, etc. And also Skylinks and Black Zerk. Those two were like molds. So yeah, this figure, really good. He's still up on Big Bad Toy Store if you're curious, and he's still like, I think $200, I think, if I recall correctly. Which is really good, mind you. Thankfully, this was purchased as from my uncle as a good, cool, awesome present. I think it was a birthday present, a Christmas present, I can't remember. Last year, technically, because it was purchased like pre-order last year, and the fan came in like back in November, I think. But yeah, he's still available on there for $200. Fortunately, to pay for turf, like taxes, etc., which is unfortunate. However, thankfully, he is still $200, which is awesome. And obviously, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. If you don't really celebrate like Christmas in general, well, have a happy day. Hopefully, have a Hanukkah, etc. And hopefully, I shall see you next time. Bye.